I'm Diane Hall with AARP Missouri, and I'd like to welcome you to Functional Movement. This is our 4th week of the 8-week series, and it is led by Tyler Ferguson and designed by Tyler Ferguson, and she's going to put the fun in functional movement. I can't believe that we are halfway through this session, 4 weeks. Now, functional movement is designed to both build strength and flexibility to carry out everyday tasks and to let you improve your fitness level regardless of where you're starting. So speaking of fitness, you can find many of our previous fitness classes on Missouri's YouTube channel, and that's at youtube.com/C, the letter C, /AARPMO. Functional movement is a class that is suitable for many levels of fitness. However, you know your own limitations. Please do not try to go beyond what you know is right for you. If you have any concerns at all, please check with your doctor before participating in this or any other AARP fitness offering. AARP Missouri also offers other live classes, and currently we have a Zumba Light class going, and we have links to past programs like Forever Fit and Yoga with Tyler that you can participate in from the recordings. You can find the links to current, past, and upcoming programs at aarp.org/moving it. All of our programming is created with people age 50 plus in mind, but it's good for anyone, any age, anywhere. AARP hopes that our fitness classes like functional movement will be great options for anyone who may not be able to or who may be a little bit hesitant to attend a traditional fitness class, like caregivers, or those with health concerns, or just for the convenience of working out at home. In addition to our online fitness classes, AARP also has resources for caregivers, up-to-date COVID-19 information, and technology information at our website, aarp.org/nearyou. Now, let's get started with functional movement. Our instructor is Tyler Ferguson. Tyler, let the fun begin.
Before we get started in class today, I want to encourage you to look for like a golf ball, not today, after class, look for a golf ball or maybe a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, and think about bringing that next week to class. We're going to use our ball next week in class, and I'll try to remind you at the end too. So little ball for next week. Otherwise, let's come to standing. We're barefoot, and bring your feet about hips distance apart and see if you can get your toes to track forward. We have a tendency sometimes to flare our feet out, and if it's possible to take the heels out or bring the toes in to get the toes forward, that's super helpful. And then lift and spread your toes and place them down on the mat. And do that 2 more times. By the way, your eye gaze, the thing that you're looking at, if your screen is up high and you're looking up the whole time in class, that's some tension in the neck that we want to try to avoid. So do your best that you can during class to keep your eye gaze lower. Notice how that makes the back of your neck longer. And then just use the sense of hearing. Try to hear the cues that I give to you. And then if something doesn't make sense, take a peek, but then get that long, relaxed neck, chin down and in. Okay, so toes forward, lift and spread the toes. Place them down on the mat. And just feel the mat below your feet. So use the sensation, that tactile sensation of the mat. 1 more time, lift and spread the toes. Inhale. On your exhale, place the toes back down on the mat. Continue to breathe, connecting breath to movement. Inhale, lift and spread toes. On your exhale, place the toes down on the mat. When I give breathing cues, I want to encourage you to slow down the breath, but I also want to encourage you, is if I use the word inhale or exhale, I want you to do it on your own time. Don't feel like you have to cut your inhale and exhale short, inhale or exhale short, because I've cued the word. Last time, find your inhale and exhale, bring your feet down on the mat. Take your fingertips, spread them wide, place them on your rib cage, and you can hook your thumb kind of around the back. And then standing nice and tall, inhale, expand your lungs wide. Inhale through the nose. On your exhale, push it through your mouth and feel your ribs move in toward one another. Again, on your inhale, Breathe into the rib cage. Feel it expand nice and wide. So we're getting the rib cage moving, using the breath. And then on your exhale, feel the rib cage collapse and move back towards itself. You can even use a little pressure from your hands to help the ribs move. So on your inhale, when the rib cage opens, you simply allow it. On the exhale, you can use your fingers to guide the rib cage closed. One more round of breath on your own as I zip into a more comfortable layer. And exhale, let it all out. Let's move the arms. Inhale the arms up to the sides. And exhale the arms down. Again, move with your breath. Try to breathe in fully, completely. And be mindful of your exhale. Slowing down both, giving yourself the time to complete full inhalations and exhalations. If this feels okay in your shoulders, reach your arms up overhead and exhale, arms down to the sides. Now we all might look different when we reach overhead. Inhale your arms up. Some, your arms might be out in front. Others, your arms might look like a Y. For some, you might be able to bring it to your ears. So just go where it's comfortable for you and bring your arms down to the side. Last time, we're going to lift the arms up with the breath. Inhale up. Keep your arms up wherever it's comfortable. Drive your shoulders or pull them down away from your ears and then look up to the ceiling. Bring your chin down to your chest. Feel the length in the back of your neck. 2 more times. Inhale, look up. Nose breath here. Exhale through the nose, look down. Breathing in and out of the nose keeps us in the parasympathetic nervous system, which just means we're in our rest and digest mode. We're not really jacking up the nervous system here. On your third and final time, bring your arms down to the sides and then shrug your shoulders up into the ears and then draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Notice when the shoulders come up into the ears, you feel that tension in the neck. And then when you bring the shoulders back and down, notice the space and the relief that you get there. Connect your breath. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders down. Inhale, shoulders up and exhale down. And release it here. Bring your arms out in front. And then inhale, shoulders up. How do I want to do that? Yeah, inhale, shoulders up and exhale them down. But now I want you to feel this from the perspective of your shoulder blade. So as the shoulders go up toward the ears, your scapula is lifting. And then as the shoulders go down, feel the scapula on the back part of your ribs. It's depressing. So scapular elevation, scapular depression. We see the shoulders moving, but imagine the scapula elevating and depressing on the back of your rib cage. So we want to have nice movement, nice glide of the scapula, working in tandem with the expansion of the ribs. Good. One more time. Inhale, scapula up. Exhale, depress, lower scapula. Bring your arms down to the sides. And then just give yourself a little wiggle, a little wave. And allow the arms to feel really super long. And it's the weight of the twist that's using the weight. It's the twist that's using the weight of your hands to sort of gently tug at the tissues in your shoulders. So you want to be nice and relaxed at the arms and just give those tissues a little elongation. Nice. And then come to a pause. Reach up overhead again. This time you're reaching for the stars. So as one hand goes up and reaches, the other comes down. And then you're getting a slight little side bend as you reach up. Now add this. As my left arm goes up, my left foot drives down. As my right arm goes up, my right foot goes down. So start to build this connection between rooting down and rising up. So as you reach, you also push down, creating a little bit more space, a little bit more length in the body. Keep breathing with me. Last time, reach for the stars. And bring your fingertips right behind your head. Keep your ears in a line with your shoulders. You don't want to push your head forward. And then pull your elbows back, open up through your heart. And we're going to dip our right elbow down to the side and come back up to center. So I'm trying to get right at the camera here. Here we go. And we'll keep staying on the right side. So we're moving our spine. All of these movements are for our spine now, spinal health. And we're moving the spine into flexion laterally. So just so you know, lateral flexion of the spine here. And what we're trying to do is breathe the whole time we move and create length in the spine. So even though my elbow on the right side is coming down to the floor, I still want to think about lifting the rib cage up long out of the pelvic bowl in order to achieve that bend on the right side. Let's do it one more time, but stay over on the right side with me. Now from here, pull your hips back behind your heels and then hinge a little bit forward. Your eye gaze is down to the ground. Now continue moving over to the other side so you wind up with your left elbow down, right elbow up, and then come back up to center. This is called full circle. Right elbow comes down. Pull your hips back, hinge. Back of the neck should feel nice and long, eye gaze to the floor. Continue moving over to the other side. Now left elbow down, right elbow up, and back to center. Now let's start to smooth it out, finding some circles. So I noticed some of you were doing juicy hip circles before class. Now we're doing some juicy spinal circles. These circular patterns can be really hydrating and feel great in our joints. We can do these in our movement for life class. We do all kinds of circles in our neck, in our shoulder girdle, in our hips, in our ankles. Last time, come back up to top with me, and then remove the hands from the fingers, take them and grab them and point forward. So we're going to shoot and round here. You're trying to take the bend out of your elbows and lengthen through the arm. Eye gaze is at the thumbs. And then separate hands, pull your chest open, chest and expansion. Now, we made a big deal of talking about the shoulder blades when we were elevating and depressing the shoulders. Here, we're also moving the shoulder blades. They're moving away from one another here, protraction. And then in your chest expansion, the shoulder blades come together, retraction. So now, as you move into your shoot and round, imagine it from the perspective of your shoulder blades, or imagine that gliding movement of the shoulder blades on the back of your ribs. Inhale, exhale, shoot and round. Last time, come and stand tall, bring your arms up, reach overhead, hands come behind your head. We'll take our lateral flexion, our spinal work on the left side. So you want to pretend like your back is against a wall, and then there's a wall in front of you closing in on you, right? And we're kind of just moving in that plane. So we're not hinging forward yet. We're just staying in that plane, moving laterally. Now you might notice as the elbow that reaches up to the ceiling reaches up, you can push down through that same leg, just like we did when we were reaching for the stars. 2, and let's hold it here on number 1. Hold it on number 1. Bend the hip, or bend at the hips a little bit, hinge, come forward, and then come around, taking it into full circle. So we'll get right into full circle a little bit more quickly this time. As you're moving through full circle, consider slight bend in the knees. You're hinging or pitching at the hips, and you want to keep breathing. And really, really, really take your eye gaze down to the floor here. So you don't want to do full circle and be looking up at the computer screen. So you want to look right out in front of you on the floor. Let's do one more full circle. If you start to get dizzy, you can either stop doing this, or when you finish doing it, I like to just press down on the top of my head, and that helps me deal with my full circle a little bit. Let's bring our hands down to our thighs and get into more of a chair pose or a squat position and work on standing cat-cow. So I'm going to push my hands away, round my spine, tuck the tail, inhale, and then exhale, pull your chest forward, send your tail scoopy, lift your eye gaze up. So this is a great time to look up the computer if it's, or the screen if it's high, and then press into cat pose, and pull your hands back into cow. 2 more times here, standing cat cow. Connect your breath to your movement. And bring yourself back up to standing. Take your feet a little bit wider here. Pull your hips back, come back into your squat, and then drop your shoulder. So you'll notice when I drop my shoulder, I might turn my hand in, and then I'm gonna look over the opposite shoulder and then switch it, look the other way. So this is kind of a juicy thoracic twist. It's not quite a circle, but it's a nice little twist. Switch back and forth. Really use your eyes, the muscles in your eyes, to look back behind you to help release through the neck and the shoulder. 2 more times. And this should feel familiar, right? Squat with rotation. For those of you that have done this with me before, last time, look over opposite shoulder. And then come to middle toe, heel your feet back in. Lift and spread your toes 1 more time. Place them down on the mat. It's time for toe exercises now. Did anybody do their homework? So here's what we're working on. Press your big toe down. Lift your opposite 4 toes up without rolling in, okay? So keep that structure in the legs and then switch it up. Put your 4 toes down. Lift your big toe up. So shouldn't maybe be able to do this right away. If you can, that's awesome. I bet you've been doing some other barefoot work, but otherwise we're switching. Big toe down, 4 toes up, 4 toes down. I gotta look at it. It's hard to look at the screen and do it. And big toes up. So this is your homework. And you can feel all of the muscles in your feet start to light up. When do you start to feel this much going on in your feet? Well, we gotta find the muscles in the feet. The muscles connected to our toes that run in our feet and up the back of our lower legs to make this happen. Good. All right, shake that out. You can work on that one at home. Now we are going to roll to the outsides of our feet and roll to the insides. So just, you'll feel this in your ankles a little bit or your lower leg, some little elongation or sensation or stretch there. Rolling in and out, rock and roll in your feet. And then our final little foot exercise, you're going to roll up into your foot fold. And I want to show you're keeping the big toe mound and piggy toe mound down and just lifting the heel, and then find that in the other side. So your knee tracks forward as you lift the heel. Your shoulders stay pretty much at home. We're just moving through the lower leg and we're articulating through the foot. So those articulation are that movement that you feel in the bottom of the foot is the movement you feel when you walk. All right, so that's what we're mimicking. We're making sure the foot can move and help you with your walking. And then come to stillness with the heels. Take your eye gaze to a fixed point down in front of you, and then press and elevate both heels up. And then see if you can stay here. Keep breathing, stay here. And then when you lower down, try to lower down with control. Nice and slow, heels come down to the mat. Regain your balance and then press yourself back up. Stay nice and steady. Notice if you squeeze your inner thighs toward one another, that can help you find some stability. We learned that in our Movement for Life class, bringing the inner thighs in. Lower the heels down nice and slow with control. Final time. Press the heels up. Lift and lengthen. Get your little squeeze. And lower it all back down. Come down into a little sit, like a little squat, like we're going to sit in a chair. Place your hands on your thighs and then pull your elbows back a little bit. Feel the scapula maybe come toward one another and your chest open and broaden a little bit. Now just do little pulses, but I want you to focus not so much on the pulse, but the idea of bringing your elbows back, pulling your chest forward, and maybe even doing these little tricep push-ups on your legs. So as I push away, or as you push away, can you feel your triceps working? 2 and 1. Now, you can stay at this depth or you can go a little bit deeper. Stand tall, make fists, and really feel the triceps turn on here. And let's get started. Squat and lengthen. So I want you to move these squats and these stands at whatever pace makes sense to you. As I said in previous classes, once I get talking, I tend to speed up. And if I start to move at a speed that isn't attainable for you, just move at the speed that works for you. You are your own best judgment on what's best for you. So I always want you to use your best judgment during class. So back to our squats. Can you feel the triceps engaged when you stand up top, shoulders draw down away from the ears? You might even feel some muscles working on the backside of your body. We do want to get the muscles working on the backside of our legs as well here. So the cue of bringing your hips or the seat, the globe of your seat back behind your heel. And then the weight is in the heel more than the toes. The toes are soft and light on the ground. As you stand, push through the heel to come tall, to stand tall. And I particularly like to push through the sort of the inside front of the heel, drive through there. Good, let's go 2 more. 2, inhale, lower, exhale, stand, and 1. Now we're just gonna move to our wide squat. So we'll just start by moving laterally right. For some of you, you just stay right here. Don't advance to any other exercises. For some, let's get wide in our squat, and we're just gonna stay here. So we're doing a squat, and we're keeping it wide. Now, some of you might be still just moving back and forth. Some of you might be squatting here. We can make this a little bit more dynamic to come back. Wide squat and come back. Wide squat. If you're doing the wide squat, make sure the weight is in both legs. Each time that foot lands, you want equal weight in both feet, and you want your pelvis to be equidistant between your feet. Your pelvis, your chin, your nose, your chest, everything that runs down the midline of your body, you're right in between. Now, you can stay right here, or you can start to balance. So when this right foot comes back, instead of tapping it and regaining your balance, can you do a single leg balance for a minute? Now, let me be clear. I've given you 4 options here. I want you to choose the options that work for you. You're not stuck in an option either. You can move around and try all of the options and see which ones are best for you. We're going to try to end this in a balance. I'm going to count you there. We're going to go 3. You don't have to be right in time with me. 2. On your next one, can you come into a balance? Now you have options for your balance. You can hold onto a wall. You can hold onto a chair. You can put your toes down like a little kickstand. Whatever works for you. Take your eye gaze to your gazing point or your drishti, that point of focus. Notice if your balance leg is locked out or if you have a nice micro bend in the knee. Kick your elevated leg forward and start to find some circles and ankle. Spread your toes wide and then take your circles in the opposite direction. Keep breathing, my friends. Sometimes when we balance, we hold our breath to try to knock ourselves off, to try to not knock ourselves off balance. Keep breathing. Bring your knee back up and in. Place your foot down. We'll march it out. Take that exact same exercise on the opposite side. So we're going to start with our steps. And just this idea of moving laterally, getting our feet, our toes to track forward when we land, that can be a lot. So be happy if that's where you are today. Meet yourself where you are today. For some, we're going to step a little wider, come into a squat, and then just stay home. We're not going to make it dynamic. Just come into a squat and press it up just with a wider orientation. You can work between those two, or you can add those two together. Squat, bring it home. Squat, bring it home. Each time you come down into a squat. Take your hands, put them on top of your thighs, and then push away. So you can bring your shoulders away from your ears, elevate your elbows, and feel the work in your upper body. And then for some, we might take that right into a right leg or an opposite leg balance. If you're choosing the balance option at the top, really try to stick your balance and stay for a moment. Remember, part of having good balance is being laser focused on something in your eye gaze, in your eye path. So if you're looking at me on the screen, I'm moving, and that's not a fixed point of reference. So use my voice here, know where we are, and find your balance. 3 more. We're going to end in a single leg balance. 2 and 1. Come to your single leg balance. Soft bend in the supporting leg. Lift and lengthen through the spine. It can feel good to bring your hands to prayer here to find some tension in front. And then kick your balancing leg forward. Spread your toes. Find circles in the ankles. Might notice if your heart rate is up, you can bring your hands right here to your heart and feel if your heart rate is lifted. I know mine was or is. Bring your knee back up and in and place your feet down on the ground. And march out your feet a little bit. Now, we worked on this one last week. We're going to turn one foot out a little bit and step the other foot forward, okay? And come back. Just step forward and come back. Now we're going to unpack this a little bit. What we're trying to do is step toe, lower heel, and come back. In the back, my heel is lifted to facilitate stepping onto the toe and lowering the heel. So what I like to think of this is, I'm on a curb. There's a bus coming. Is it safe? Nope, it's not safe. I'm back up off the curb. Now, let's really unpack this because I saw myself do it incorrectly in the screen. Draw your navel into your spine and let your shoulders travel with your hips rather than taking it forward with your shoulders and putting weight in your knee, okay? So let the shoulders stay over the hips, looking side to side and pressing it back. All right, we got that. And we're strengthening our ankle muscles by working on this little deceleration move. Now stay with me here. Open up these legs, your legs, so they feel comfortable. Lift that back heel, and then we're going to lower, press it up, lower. So notice my back heel is lifted. Work on that. Your weight is more in your front leg. The back leg is like a kickstand. It's helping you with your balance. If this is a bummer on your knee, I want you to take note of that and work on that. So first, where is your weight? Your weight wants to be in the heel now, and you want to be using your back side, your hamstrings and your glute to lower. You don't want to feel this in your knee and quad as you're lowering. Let's go 2 and 1, and then press it back. Good. March it out, and then find some movement in the rib cage. So really think about, instead of having our arms sweep across our body, now they're just moving from front to back, but the weight of our wrists and hands is rotating our rib cage. So the hips can twist with it a little bit, but the rib cage leads the movement. They're getting independence from the ribs and the pelvis here, the last time, and come to front lunge again on the other side. So my 1 foot's in turnout. I'm going to lower, decelerate, and come back. I don't know if you can see when I lower, my back heel is lifted. As I peel the back heel up to send the momentum forward. So I'm sending the momentum of my hips forward, but not the momentum of my shoulders forward. I don't know this to be true. I read this, but when you didn't wear shoes, this was more of the way that you walked because you're feeling for, I don't know, sharp things or things that you want to bang into. So I want you to think about landing that way. Using your toes to feel and sense where the ground is, and then allowing the rest of the body to arrive. And then upper body remains the same, right? We can press off and do those little presses, and then lengthen through the arms. Now, stay home with me here. Get organized in the knees, and then lower, press up. Back heel stays lifted, lower, and press up. When you press up, squeeze, turn on your back glute, and maybe even draw your inner thighs in together. I see one of my friends making this amazing modification for the front lunge. So we're doing a static lunge now, but that modification that you made for your front lunge, so smart. Really good work. Let's go 2 more here. Last one. And then we're gonna lunge and bring ourselves back together. I don't know where that came from. All right, and then swing your arms, move through the rib cage. Let's get our legs a little bit wider now. So we're gonna go from squat to turn your feet out. Squat, turn your feet out. Remember, just move at the speed that works for you. And there's no need to turn your feet out any further than your feet want to go. Good, let's keep the feet in turnout and then walk them out. If you're working with a mat, a little bit wider than your mat or maybe wider than your shoulders. And then pull your hips back behind your heels. We're gonna lunge to one side, keep your spine nice and long, and your chest can stay pretty lifted here, and then lunge to the other side. So notice one leg is straight, one knee is bent. We're gonna move back and forth. You can keep your hands, one hand on each leg. That's one way to move that. And only go as deep as this feels safe in your body, right? So take this to a level. I tend to go really deep in this because I love this move. I use it a lot in my own workout. But I can stay pretty upright and just work on these little transfers of my weight. Or you can sit a little lower. You can hinge a little bit lower, moving back and forth into these lunges. Okay, let's all come over to the right side. And then if the toes are turned out, just make them go forward. Opposite leg is long. You want to feel the whole foot on the ground. Both hands on the right leg. We're going to lower down and then stand up tall. Squeeze the glutes. Open up the front of the hips when you stand tall. Sit back and down. Stand up nice and tall. Inhale and exhale. Doesn't matter when you inhale and when you exhale, but work on connecting your breath to your movement. Lowering down and pressing up. Let's add on to this one. Let's take this, the same arm of the leg that's long, and we're gonna bring it up, right? Just bring your fingers across your body. Feel your bicep and tricep hug to the bone, like you're really showing off your guns here. And then your elbow is level with your shoulder. And notice the shoulder is down and away from the ear. Let's go 2 and 1. Back to our lunges, shifting side to side. I really want you to find the depth that works for you here. I've showed some kind of lighter depths, but we can get to some lower depths. If this feels okay in the knees and the low back, you can hinge a little bit more forward and then get a little bit deeper by finding these reaches on each side. You don't have to, these are just options for you. Good, let's come over to our left side now. Take those toes, turn them in, set yourself up. The leg that's long, the toes can be out a little bit. Both hands on the thigh, we're gonna lower and press up. So here's what I want you to feel when you're doing this. See if I can set this up in the camera. I don't want you to lower by pressing your knee forward. See how that looks? My butt's not going anywhere. What I want you to do is bring your seat back to lower. And then notice it's the seat going down to the ground. That's the lowering phase. Another common mistake is to not lower the seat and to only move in the spine, okay? That can make your back sore. So pull your hips behind your heel keep your chest pretty long. Load the heel of that foot and then push away in that area of the heel, the front inside part of the heel. Good. I've arrived. Nice and tall. I'm not set up correctly. There we go. Connect your breath to your movement. And then let's bring that opposite arm across. Get a little bit of arm in there. Think about if you've ever been in marching band or drum corps or drill team, how you want these really sharp, precision movements. So blade your fingers together, point your fingers, have a nice glide, and make nice sharp lines as you do it. 3, and 2, and 1. All right. One more time. Find your back and forth lunges. Find the level that works for you. You can stay up tall. You can find your reaches. Maybe some of you might want to try reaching to the ground. So it means getting your seat pretty darn low so that my shoulders are still higher than my seat. I'm not here. My shoulders are higher than my seat. And let's come to center. Wherever you are, come to center and then rise yourself up. Bring your heels in, toes out, and we're going to come into horse pose. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, pull your hands right down in front of your chest. You can create a little bit of tension here. Toes are in turnout. So knees are not rolling. We're not on the insides of our foot. We're finding the outside edges of the foot and allowing that to pull the knees out, and then lift one heel and lower down to the ground. So when you lower that heel down to the ground, don't lift it and bang it. Lift it, lower it with control. Lift it up, lower it with control. So we practice that a little bit in our front lunge, striking with our toe and then lowering to the heel. Let's switch to the opposite leg. Lift it, lower with control. Now, as you're doing this work, if you sort of pull your feet together, so they're not moving together, but you pull like you're trying to scrunch the mat up, but it's not moving, that might help you find some stability. And then your your shoulders are right over your hips as if your back is against the wall. Now we're going to switch. Right leg and lower, left leg. Now this is a lot on your adductor muscles. When and if you want to come out, do it. All right? You do what's best for you, what serves you, but we're trying to find control here. Draw navel into the spine, recruiting your core muscles. Last one, stand up tall and then lower down. Squeeze inner thighs to stand up nice and tall. Last time, lower down, stand up nice and tall, and then toe, heel your feet to parallel. We're going to be a little bit wider in our parallel here, okay? And then squat, look back over the shoulder, stand up nice and tall. So look back over the shoulder to the back of the room. So you feel your eye muscles working, the muscles of your neck working to rotate your head that far. Once you've got that mapped out, as your hands are touching your knees, notice if the knees are collapsing together. You want to maintain the squat in the lower body. That's what we're trying to achieve. Find rotation in the upper body. Now there's a pretend box or gift down on the ground. Pick it up and hold it. This week, it's a little extra energy, a little extra encouragement and compassion from me. So as you pick that up and bring it in, that's my connection to you through our Zoom meeting. And if you found this helpful at all, pick someone in your life and give it away. So we're going to pick up that encouragement, that compassion, that patience, that joy, and share it away. Now, we've added on to this exercise. You can always regress to the piece that makes sense for you, but I'm going to add on a little bit more. Instead of sharing it across the room, does it feel okay to twist to the back of the room? The heel of the foot that you took the box from might lift a little bit as you reach to the back of the room. 3. Keep breathing. And 2. And 1. And come back to center. Squat and stand tall. We're going to find this on the other side. So start to look over the shoulder and back forward. Keep looking back and forward, finding the rotation in ranges of your neck and also the in ranges of your eyeballs. And then we're going to grab that box and hold it. So pick it up as if it's got some weight to it, it's got some meaning to it, and also hold it in the same way. So driving the shoulders away from the ears, driving the elbows down, maybe even pressing the hands toward one another, like you don't want to let the box slip out of your hands. Now share it. Share the box as if it's somewhat heavy. So notice how just your mind can change the character or the sensation of the work that we're doing. And you can stay right here and share. Or if you want to twist back a little bit more, back to the back of the room, you can find that motion. Feel free to lift the opposite heel to facilitate that twist. We have a lot of different levels here. You can move back and forth throughout them, or pick the one that works best for you. Last one. And come to center. Squat down, look up, reach up, inhale your arms up. And exhale, arms down to the sides. We're going to do a balance challenge here. So soft knees, shift the weight into your left leg. That's going to be your base or your supporting leg. Peel your right heels up. Feel free to use a wall or a chair for balance here. Eye gaze forward and down. The leg that's lifted, the heel that's lifted, tap those toes forward, tap back to center, tap to the side, back to center, back behind, and to center, behind your leg, opposite side, back to center. Stand up tall, shake it out. We're going to do that exact same one again. You have the option of tapping or hovering. I'll show you what I mean by a hover. Lift the heel. Make sure your weight's to the opposite leg. You can tap and hover. Tap and hover. Feel free to put your toe down for a kickstand if you want. These are just variations, just options for you. And then march it out. So finding that foot fold. Well, actually, we're not finding the foot fold. We're marching more. And we'll take that balance in the opposite side. So nice little bend in the knees. Not so much chair pose, just a bend in the knees. Peel up, opposite heel. I like to bring my hands together and create some tension here. I can access my lats, which help in core activation. Point and touch. Reach and touch. Back behind and touch. And behind the standing leg and touch. Stand up nice and tall. We'll do that one more time. Take your level. Do you hover or do you touch? Either is fine. Holding on to what you need to hold on to for your balance. Reach it forward, out to the side, back behind, and around your standing leg. Good job, yogis. Now let me encourage you, if you chose the option where you're going to hover, but you're just kind of flailing the whole time, I would encourage you to go back to the option where you feel in control. That's where you're going to do the most work on this isometric hold. So make that wise choice. If you notice, if you have the tendency, like I want to do the harder thing, but now I've lost the connection. Try to stay in and maintain your connection with the work. Okay, this is going to lead us to our curtsy lunge now. So we're going to start with the right leg. We're going to bring it back behind the left leg. We're going to do a little lunge. Now my weight is in my front leg. My back leg is just keeping me from falling. It's a kickstand and back. So we're going to curtsy down and back. Curtsy down and back. Again, your front leg is doing the work, Can you feel the work in your glute, your hamstring? Is the weight more in your heel, not the back of your heel, kind of the front part of your heel on the inside, right before you get to the arch. Press up. Good. Curtsy. And tap. Connect your breath to your movement. Now, you don't have to go so low. You might be right here. Work in the range that works for you. Okay? 3 and 2 and 1. And come back over to the other side. Into your curtsy. Weight is in the new leg. Let's get into our curtsy and just establish. Weight is in my front leg. Back leg is just a kickstand. Squat it down and tap. Now, right away, when I do this, I feel a little bit of pain in my knee. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to adjust. There it goes. I just pulled my hips back behind my heel a little bit more and got more into my heel. That feels better. That took the pressure. That took the weight off my knees. You can do the arms just like we've been doing them. Placing the fingers on the thigh, pressing off and finding full extension through the arms. Now we're at our halfway point this week. Next week, we're going to be adding arms overhead. That option to a lot of our exercises, that will get the heart rate up. But I want you to learn the base first. I think I offered a few arms overhead last week, but we mix it up a little bit based on the amount of time that we have. Let's go 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And bring it out. Circle your arms up, look up and reach up. Exhale your arms down to your side. Pull yourself back into a hip hinge. Just a nice little hinge, bend at the knee. And then reach your front arm forward, or run arm forward, thumb up, and then pull the elbow right back. Pull it back in. And then feel your upper arm brush along your rib as you pull it back. Drive the elbow back. Feel the shoulder stay nice and away from the ear. 3, 2, and 1. A little rowing movement. Reach, find it on the other side. Sweep and reach, draw it back. Connect your breath to your movement. Sweep and reach. And again, pretend like you have a 5-pound weight in your hand, right? Does that change how this exercise feels if you just pretend like you have a weight, right? We're contracting the muscle in the same way as if we did have a weight. So these body weight exercises can be beneficial even if we don't have a tool. Good. 2 and 1. Stand up, reach up, bring your hands up overhead, clasp your hands and bring them into your chest. Hands go to your right shoulder, look, press your hands away, widen through the back. Inhale, fingertips go to the shoulder, look at your fingertips and press away. Stand tall, press away, look, and press away. Now, toe heel your feet nice and wide and we'll finish off. Reach and reach, touch and reach. So each time you're reaching your fingers forward, feel yourself straighten out at the elbows and feel the bicep and tricep muscle come on. A little tug, lengthening at your scapula. They separate from one another. And bring it into the center. Toes are wide here. Take one foot, turn the toes away, and bend the knee. So a little warrior 2 pose. Take a gaze over the fingertips that are stretched out in front of the bent knee. Backhand comes, or the hand behind you goes into your lower back. Get a little reverse in your warrior. And bring yourself back to warrior 2. Straighten out your front leg. Turn your toes back forward. And then find warrior 2 in your other toes. So spin the foot around. Bend the knee right over the toes. So bending the knee over the toes, dropping back heel, Lift arms up and look over your fingertips. Good. Take the arm that's in the back, bring it behind, scoop your front arm, move into a little reverse of the warrior. The legs don't move. You're just getting a side body stretch. Inhale. Exhale. Eye gaze over the front fingertips. Warrior two. Straighten out your front leg. Pivot your toes back to center. Bring the toes back into parallel. Bring the arms up. Look up. Sweep the arms down. And sweep. Bring them up. And sweep. You can lift your toes up as your hands sweep back. 3. Blow the air out. Inhale. Blow the air out. Inhale. And let it go. All right, my friends, that concludes our workout this week. Remember, next week, if you have a golf ball or a tennis ball or even a large marble or a rubber ball, bring it with you to class next week. We're going to do some fun things. See you next time.